Hey guys, today I wanted to take a few minutes to do a quick first impressions video about my Cold Steel AD-15. So I wrote some points down so I can try to keep it quick here. But pretty much when I got this knife out of the box, the first thing I thought of was that it felt to me like a ZT. I have a handful of zero tolerance knives in my collection, and what I meant by that is that it feels kind of hefty, overbuilt, stocky blade and everything. Everything's machined very nicely, and the fit and finish is just almost flawless. I was very impressed with that. The fit and finish was just very, very nice. So you can see everything lines up really well here. At first, I was watching videos before I received it in the mail, and I saw this little round part that sticks out into the forefinger choil here. But honestly, you don't really feel it. You don't feel it almost at all. It's so round and soft that it's not an issue. This choil is pretty small. I have small fingers, and I feel like if you had like big fingers or large hands, this would be kind of sketchy unless you're wearing gloves. You might be like nicking yourself on the edge of that blade there. But for me, it works well, and I do sometimes work with gloves, so it's not a big deal for me. But yes, so it felt to me like a ZT, but made by Cold Steel. I've had many Cold Steel knives over the years, and I've had many ZT knives, and they generally have a different feel. Cold Steels are generally, I'm not saying they're not as tough, but they're generally lighter in feel. Like even like a Recon 1 has just full G10 handles, is a lot lighter than this thing. This thing was really like heft. I really felt the heft behind it, but I like that. Some people like much lighter knives, but I have no complaints with this one. So yeah, the fit and finish I was impressed by as well right off the bat. I have a little bit of use on it. I've been opening a couple boxes, so it's not perfectly clean, but I love the grinds too. You have like the horizontal grinds here and a vertical grind here, a little bit more of a satin finish on the top. It's very nice. But something that I was also worried about, that some people talked about in their videos and their reviews of this knife that I was watching while I was waiting for it to come in the mail, was this lock. They thought this lock was tricky, and I'll tell you, it's unique, it's different, and like all other different locks, it takes a little getting used to. But it only took me about a day to get used to this one. I can open it in a variety of ways: thumb stud, front thumb, or middle finger flicking in the back. I like to open my knives like that sometimes. Something else you can do, like a Benchmade kind of thing, you can disengage the lock. I like to do that with my finger in the back like this. You kind of pull on it, and then you can kind of swing the blade out. Sorry, I don't have a lot of room here, but there you go. You can do that. You can also disengage it the same way to lock it back. Same thing. Or you can kind of just grab the whole spine like this, and if I get this right again, it's different under the camera without trying to knock things over, but it takes a little getting used to, but you can lock it and unlock it very easily. It's actually, oh, there you go, got the desk a little bit. It's actually very smooth. It's very smooth once you figure out that lock. Much like a frame lock, if you're a person that hasn't had a lot of experience with frame locks and stuff, you might notice at first that it takes a little getting used to not grip the blade in the back there where the lock is kind of holding the detent in place. So obviously if you press a frame lock in the back there, you're going to have a little bit more of a difficult time actuating it, because that has to come up a little bit, as you can see here. You might be able to see there. There has to be some slight motion upward of that so that that detent ball there can come out of the little spot that it rests in. Same thing for this. If you're trying to deploy it and you're gripping it shut like this, you're going to have a hard time. You got to loosen up the grip on the back here, and then you can flick it out easily. Or like I said, you could just grab the whole back here, not grab onto the front, and let the weight of the blade do the work. That does it as well for me. So a lot of people talked about this knife, compared it to the AD-10, another Cold Steel folding knife that has great, excellent reviews. But I wanted to just kind of give my 2 cents on that, because I was kind of torn between the two of them when I was looking for one of them to buy. So compared to the AD-10, I would say the differences are the hollow grind on the 10 and the flat ground on this one. So that's kind of, you take it or leave it. Whatever your preference is, you know, it's up to you. Some people prefer one or the other. I don't really have a preference, but I guess I do like flat grinds a little more if I had to choose. But I haven't like not bought a knife because of the grind or anything like that. So to me, that's not a big difference, but it's definitely between those two knives, something to consider. They have different locks. The AD-10 has a tried and true triad lock, and This one has the scorpion lock, which is a very similar kind of lock. It's like a back lock, but it just engages and disengages differently. So the locks are different. This one is, of course, a little bit more new age and more of a cool factor because it's different kind of thing. Somebody mentioned that on YouTube, that, you know, this knife is pretty much, you only get it because it's cool, because it's called the scorpion lock and because it's a different new lock or whatever. I don't fully agree. I think that you get it because it's also because it's different. It's not just because it's different, but it's different, and that makes it more valuable in a collection, to have something that stands out in your collection. If you have a big collection of folding knives like I do, you might have like different locks, and sometimes you find a knife that has an interesting lock that you don't have in your collection, and you'd just like to add that one. So I think this one kind of wins in the collectability of the two. But for my studies on the internet and my understanding of this, I would say the AD-10 is a little bit more ergonomic and well balanced. The handle seems like a very nice, smooth, rounded G10, so obviously gives you a better feel when you're gripping it and doing a lot of hard work with it. You're gonna feel this one more because this one is built like a folding knife. It's rectangular, it's kind of flat. You feel that kind of square grip here. Not saying it's not comfortable. This is a very good knife, very ergonomic. But all knives that are folding knives are different than fixed blades in that when you've been using them for a long time, your hand starts to get all the hot spots that you didn't know were there originally, whereas a fixed blade knife just has a dedicated handle that's not doubling as a blade guard, so pretty much it's just round and ergonomic and nothing else. This one has to be, folding knives have to have ergonomic and rounded off handles at the same time as having a practical handle to hide the blade in when they're folded, so that's something to consider. But I definitely wanted to say that between the two, I chose this one. Oops, kicked the camera. Between the two, I chose this one because of that reason. Not saying I wouldn't own the other one. I would love to add it to my collection as well, especially now that, you know, Cold Steel's made some changes in the ownership and everything. So I don't really know if quality is going to go up or down, or if they're even going to continue to produce those knives. But I did choose this one because I felt like this one had something unique that none of my other knives in the collection have, while still being a very solid and very usable folding blade. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back eventually after some time with a full review on this one. I'll put in all the details and everything, anything you guys might want to know about it. I'll write down all my experiences, and I'll make sure to tell you guys on camera here so you guys can make up your minds whether you want to buy it or not. But by the time that comes, who really knows what's going to happen. Like I said, I have some knives that I've bought in the past, and they're kind of discontinued, so I don't know if it's much of a point to make a review. I will eventually, just because I want to show them off to you guys. But honestly, this knife is really solid. If you guys are looking to get it, the company's making changes, so I would do so, and I would just get one of these now before they make changes, even though you may just be pleasantly surprised in the future to find out that everything remained the same. And I hope that that's how it goes, but I guess for now we'll see. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any other videos, and you like this if it helped you, and leave me any comments with questions or anything that you guys might want to see. I'll catch you guys next time.